Hello everybody, welcome to the Matthew Street channel. I am your host Matthew Street and I appreciate you being here as always, folks. And folks, a couple of days ago I made a quick video from my car. I don't do too many car videos, but I did one the other day because we received some news that the famed film producer, filmmaker Sam Mendes was going to be working on 4 biopic films for each of the individual Beatles. They would be from 4 different perspectives about the story of the Beatles, from the inception of the Beatles until their breakup. And this intrigued me, and I wanted to get the news right out to you. And it was like a quick 3-minute video I did, and I threw it out there, and I appreciate everyone who watched that video. However, as I made that car report and thereafter, I started to get a little down about it. After I put the video out there, I was thinking about going, oh no. I started to get a little bit down. Like, how could these 4 picks even be remotely successful? How could they succeed? Because you're going to have, you got John and Paul, the primary songwriters, and then you got George's story, which is and then you got Ringo. Like, there's going to be some lag there. Like, John's going to make 200 million, Paul's only makes 175 million. George's makes 50 and Ringo makes 20 million and fails at the, you know what I mean? Like, I just started thinking, like, I don't know about this. And I used the analogy of the Kiss albums when Kiss released their 4 solo albums in 1978, and how, I think Gene and Paul thought theirs were going to be the, top dogs fighting each other off, and that Ace and Peters would be down the bottom somewhere, like a little competition. And what ended up happening, Ace Frehley's did the best, had the biggest hit on it, and it sold the most, and it's the most beloved. And then maybe Paul Stanley's is second. Gene's kind of fell in the 3rd category, and poor Peter Criss, his was down the bottom of the barrel. All right, and I hate to use that analogy with these 4 biopics that are coming out for the Beatles with Sam Mendes, but I'm like, couldn't that happen? Like box office, So that got me down a little bit. The competitiveness at the box office. And even if one of them was an embarrassing failure, it would just be a stain on the career of the Beatles, even to have one of them do bad. So that worried me. And then I started thinking, well, what are they going to do? Put some of these big young, we're going to have Harry Styles playing Paul McCartney or something? That would just make me want to throw up, and I wouldn't want to go see the movie no matter what. No offense to Harry Styles, okay? But I'm just saying, do I want to see these big names portraying the Beatles in a biopic? No, I don't. I didn't want that, so I got worried about that. Or the stars, if they put these big stars in the positions of the Beatles, are they going to get more, are they going to be the biggest attention grab? Like, oh, look who's playing George Harrison. Look who's playing John Lennon or Ringo or Paul. That bothered me. But the one thing I was positive about was, well, at least Apple has given their blessing for the music to Sam Mendes, so at least we know we're getting a positive. We're getting the Beatles' actual music sung by them, you would assume. So that was something. But all in all, I was down about it after I made that video, folks. I was like, this just doesn't seem good to me. I don't know, I'm nervous. We got 3 years to worry about it or talk about it or commiserate about it, whatever, but I wasn't sure. But then I saw a video by one of my favorite channels, and it gave me a boost, folks. It gave me a shot in the arm, and I said, you know what, this could be cool. And I really liked his insights, and that's my friend over at Pop Goes the 60s, Matt Williamson. I watched his video. It's not that long. Go over and check it. I'll put the link below. He talked me off the ledge. Okay, Matt got me off the Beatles ledge, as it were, with his video, because he really got me thinking in a more positive way, or a positive way to look at these 4 biopics and not be so worried about it. When I was, one of the big reasons another reason I want to tell you I was worried was when I was 16 and Birth of the Beatles came out, that Dick Clark produced, made-for-TV film. I remember being 16 and thinking it was pretty cool. I thought, hey, that's a pretty cool, biopic, I guess, if you use the term back then. But it hasn't aged that well. As I've watched it over the last few years or so, I went back to it after many, many years. I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but it didn't age too good. It just got me. But Matt, he gave a very unique presentation about the possibilities of this Sam Mendes project. with the 4 different perspectives of each Beatle coming in to play. And that he thinks that it might be good that this is going to grab some attention. It's going to create some controversy to have these 4 different angles and these 4 different ideas coming to fruition together. The 4 different perspectives. He thinks it's going to make it interesting, and it could even make it fun to be speculating about and talking about. It's going to get the fans jazzed up again. And it's going to keep the Beatles relevant. At least for the next 3 years, people are going to be talking about this. There's going to be, I'm sure, little clips and little pictures coming out from the film set, and and the excitement of who's playing who and what's going to happen with the music and how are they going to release this thing. It could make it very interesting. It could keep the Beatles kind of relevant. I think, and Matt was right, I think this could pull in some newer fans, folks. You're going to get some younger, more casual fans of the Beatles that they're going to be grabbed by this over the next 3 years as it builds and builds and builds up to the big crescendo of 2027 and the release. I think it's going to grab new fans, and that's cool. Look what it's doing to us older fans, us old farts like me, old Beatle fans who've been around forever. We're already starting to get jazzed up about it. Like, ooh, what's this going to be about? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? So the older fans, we're going to get revitalized, as Matt put it. I like that word, Matt, revitalized, because I need revitalization, believe me. So I'm getting all pumped up about it. It's going to bring in some newer casual fans, going to pull them in. That's going to be cool. And if it's done right, it could be very interesting. This is a first. I mean, yeah, we had we've had other Beatle biopics. We've had the Elvis biopic, Queen with Freddie Mercury, Elton John, Bob Marley, we've had them all. And some are good and some are bad. But this would be a first, to have 4 around the same time, 4 Beatles perspectives. Think about it. You know, the way Matt got me pumped up again about this, folks. They're thinking outside the box here. You got to say it. The filmmakers here, the people involved in it. And for Apple to jump right on board, for the estates of George and John to jump right on board, for Paul and Ringo to jump right on board and give Sam Mendes the green light, that says a lot, folks, to what this could be or what they've been presented with, how it's going to appear. There's got to be something outside the box here for sure. Wow. Think of the music. This is going to be unbelievable. And like Matt said, I prefer unknowns to play the Beatles. I think because that will keep that star distraction out of the whole project. Let's get some unknowns in there. That would be so interesting. Let's see how it's going to be released. How is it going to roll out? Is it going to be back to back? All at the same time? You have to see them all together. Is it going to be every quarter? Matt mentioned that. It could be like every 3 months during 2027 we get one. I mean, you got to give Apple credit, or the Beatles credit. They're finding new ways, new exciting ways to keep the Beatles in our minds and our hearts. They're keeping them relevant. They're keeping us excited about something. And Matt brought up a good point, and I never really thought about this, but those box sets, the Super Deluxe starting in 2017 with Sgt. Pepper, all over, and we're waiting for the next one. We've had Revolver now a while back, Rubber Soul, Hard Day's Night. What are we getting? There's got to be something other than those to keep the Beatles in our hearts, minds, and souls. Because Matt brought up a good point. We've never seen any sales figures for those damn box sets, have we? Does anyone have them? I haven't seen anything. I would assume Sgt. Pepper. I would assume Abbey Road, maybe the Let It Be one with the tag on with the Get Back Peter Jackson film did okay, but are they selling that well? I mean, as we get into the earlier period of the Beatles, is that going to hold as much interest? The people that really were all excited in 2017 about the Sgt. Pepper release, are they going to be just as excited about Beatles for Sale in a Super Deluxe package? Probably not, even though I think the music is just as wonderful. So we got to find ways to keep the Beatles in the forefront. We got to find ways, and I think Matt brought up great insights as to how this can happen with the Sam Mendes project. I just think there's going to be a build-up here over the next 3 years. I think there will be a build-up. It's going to keep us all talking, us longtime fans. It's going to pull in new people excited about this new project, no matter what happens. And I'm sure we're going to get more and more info as time rolls on here. But basically, I'm just here and I'm going to be out of here now, folks. 10 minutes. I just want to thank Matt because I was on the ledge, folks. After I made that car video, I was like, oh man, 3 years of misery leading up to a really horrid, huge, embarrassing failure for the Beatles. But, I'm starting to think more positive about it. So thank you to Matt Williamson over at Pop Goes the 60s. I'm going to put the link to his video below, as I said earlier, because I think you need to check it out. I love the way he presents it and the way he comes across with his thoughts on it, because it really did help give me that Beatle boost I need going forward into 2027 in 3 years. And plus, you get to see his little dog, Bogey. Little cute little stinker, that dog. I love that dog. Reminds me of my two. He's just so comfortable, so happy in his life over there with Matt. Wait till you see Bogey over in that video. Love you all. Thank you, and thank you to Matt Williamson. Bye-bye.